Hello, hi, Assalamualaikum dan selamat sejahtera. Today we are going to continue our chapter 3 with the subtopic 3.2. Okay, the title of the 3.2 is Concept of Movement of Substances Across a Plasma Membrane. Alright, okay, so let's take a look on the learning standards of this 3.2. At the end of this subtopic, pupils are able to, number one, you have to state the characteristics of substances that are able to move across a plasma membrane in this aspect. Okay, first, size of the molecules, two, polarity of the molecules, and number three, the ionic charge. Okay, number two, describe by using examples movement of substances across a plasma membrane. Okay. First by passive transport and second one by active transport. And then number three, compare and contrast passive transport and active transport. Okay, that is our learning standards for today. Okay, let's go to the first learning standard. The characteristics of movement of substances that are able to move across a plasma membrane. Okay, what are the characteristics? Okay, so there are three factors that determine whether a molecule can pass through a plasma membrane. Which is number one, size of the molecule. Number two, polar molecule. Polar molecule refer to the distribution of the charge between the atoms, right? Okay, usually refer to the electronegativity of the atoms, or the molecules. Okay, and the ionic charge, ionic charge, okay, refer to the elements that they have a charge, whether it's a positive charge or negative charge. Alright, okay, so there are three factors that determine whether a molecule can pass through or not, through a plasma membrane. Okay. Alright, okay, next we go to the type of the movement. Movement of a substance across a plasma membrane. Okay, so can be divided into two types. Okay, first, passive transport, which have three types of the passive transport. Okay, what are they? Simple diffusion. Number two, osmosis. And number three, facilitated diffusion. Facilitated diffusion. Okay, please spell it correctly. Facilitated diffusion. Okay. Number two, the second type of the movement of the substance. Okay, which is active transport. Alright, okay. I repeat, there is a two type of the movement of substance across the plasma membrane. First type is passive transport, which can be divided into three types: simple diffusion, osmosis, and facilitated diffusion. And the second type of the transport is by active transport. Okay. Next, we have to go one by one. Okay, the movement of substance across a plasma membrane occurs through passive and active transport. Okay, so let's take a look on passive transport first. Okay, what is passive transport? Okay, an analogy of passive transport is like riding a bicycle downhill. Riding a bicycle downhill. Macam kita menaiki basikal menuruni bukit. Okay. So, what do you mean by the passive transport? Okay, passive transport refer to the movement of substances from higher concentration area to the lower concentration area. Okay, I repeat, refer to the movement of substances from higher concentration area to the lower concentration area, or in other words, okay, down concentration gradient. From higher to the lower. So in other words, we can say down the concentration gradient. Until a dynamic equilibrium is achieved. Yeah, okay, until a dynamic equilibrium is achieved. Okay, later I will explain more about the dynamic equilibrium. Yeah, okay, no energy is required in the passive transport. Okay, so I repeat, what is the passive transport? Passive transport refers to the movement of substances from higher concentration area to the lower concentration area. In other words, down the concentration gradient. Yeah, until dynamic equilibrium is achieved, so no energy is required. Okay, so that is the meaning of passive transport. Okay, what you have to remember, movement of substances from higher concentration to the lower concentration. Okay, next we go to the active transport. Okay, active transport is opposite to the passive transport. Yeah, refer to the movement of substances from lower concentration area to the higher concentration area. Yeah, from the lower concentration area to the higher concentration area. In other words, against the concentration gradient. Yeah, against the concentration gradient. Yeah, okay. So the type of the active transport need energy. Yeah, energy is required from the cell. Okay, that is referred to the active transport. Okay, what is active transport? Refer to the movement of substances from lower, yeah, concentration area to the higher concentration area, or against the concentration gradient, yeah, whereby energy is required. Okay, make sure you can differentiate between passive transport and active transport. Okay, passive transport refer to the movement of substances from higher, yeah, to the lower concentration area. Okay, if active transport refer to the movement of substances from lower, yeah, to the higher concentration area. So which one need the energy? Of course, active transport need the energy because it moves against the concentration gradient. Okay, what do you mean by dynamic equilibrium? Yeah, just now I already talked about the dynamic equilibrium, right? Okay, so what is a dynamic equilibrium? Dynamic equilibrium refers to the continuous random movement of particles with no overall concentration change. Yeah, okay, that is referred to the dynamic equilibrium. Okay, let's take a look on the example. Okay, so this is referred to the two types of the solution. Yeah, two types of the solution that's separated by selectively permeable membrane. Yeah, example of the selectively permeable membrane is whisking tubing. Right? Okay. So what happened here? A diffusion of the molecules occur. Yeah, the movement of the molecules occur here from higher concentration area here to the lower concentration area here. Okay, and then it will move, move through the whisking tubing, and then what happen? It will form a dynamic equilibrium, yeah, whereby the concentration of the both solution are the same. Ya, maksudnya kepekatan kedua-dua larutan tu adalah sama at the end of the process. Yeah, that is what we call as dynamic equilibrium. The continuous random of movement of particles, yeah, with no overall concentration change. Okay, let's go to the simple diffusion. Yes, simple diffusion is one of the type of the passive transport. Okay, so what is the meaning of the simple diffusion? Yeah, let's take a look on here. And the movement of substances from high concentration area to a low concentration area until a dynamic equilibrium is achieved. Okay, that is the meaning of simple diffusion. Okay, the movement of substances from high concentration area to a lower concentration area until a dynamic equilibrium is achieved. Okay, alright. Substances which move across the plasma membrane by simple diffusion are fatty acid, glycerol, vitamin A, D, E, K, oxygen, and carbon dioxide. Okay, so please look at the diagram here. Okay, so these are referred to the simple diffusion process. Okay, the movement of the substances from higher concentration area to lower concentration area until a dynamic equilibrium is achieved. Okay, so if we look at here, the movement of the substances, okay, please take a look on the oxygen. Okay, this is referred to the oxygen. Oxygen at the outer environment or extracellular is higher, right? Okay, if you count the number of the oxygen there is higher concentration, right? Okay, on the outer cell. Okay, so oxygen move from the higher concentration area to the lower concentration area. Okay, until a dynamic equilibrium is achieved. That is simple diffusion. Right? Okay, simple diffusion. Okay, so you have to remember the substance that move across the plasma membrane by simple diffusion. Okay, what are the examples? Oxygen, carbon dioxide refer to the small molecules. Carbon dioxide and oxygen are small molecules that can pass through the phospholipid bilayer freely. By simple diffusion. Okay, the other examples are fatty acid, glycerol, vitamin A, D, E, K. Why? Why fatty acid, glycerol, vitamin A, D, E, K? Because they are lipid soluble molecules that can pass through the phospholipid bilayer freely. Because of the characteristic of the phospholipid bilayer, which is a lipid. So these substances are lipid soluble molecules. Okay, what are they? Fatty acid, glycerol, vitamin A, D, E, K. So they can move across the plasma membrane by simple diffusion. Okay, I hope you can understand that, right? Okay, simple diffusion. Okay, next we go to the osmosis. Okay, osmosis refers to the movement of water. Only water, please remember. Osmosis refers to the movement of water from high water potential. High water potential refer to the low solute concentration. Okay, high water potential here refer to the higher concentration of water area. Higher concentration of water, right? High water potential refer to the high concentration of water, or in other words, low solute concentration. To a low potential area. So the movement of water from high water potential to a low potential area. Low potential area has a high solute concentration. Across selectively permeable membrane. Across selectively permeable membrane. That is osmosis. Okay, I repeat. What is the meaning of the osmosis? The movement of water only. Water. It is referred to the movement of water from high water potential to a low potential area. Across a selectively permeable membrane. Okay, so look at this diagram here. On the extracellular, there is a high water potential area. Okay, inside the cell, which is in the cytoplasm, there is a low water potential. Okay, what we can see from here, the water molecules move across the plasma membrane by osmosis. Okay, that is referred to the osmosis, the movement of water from higher concentration area to the lower concentration area, or from high water potential to the low water potential. Alright, okay. So take a look on this diagram. Okay, this is a U tube. Okay, so this is a U tube. U-tube divided by selectively permeable membrane at the center. Okay, so this side has a high water potential area. Yeah, at the same time it has a low solute concentration, and this side has low water potential. At the same time it has a high solute concentration. Okay, so what happened? Yeah, what happened? The water from the high water potential area here move across the selectively permeable membrane to the low water potential area here. Yeah, until it achieve a dynamic equilibrium. Yeah, until it achieve a dynamic equilibrium. Okay, so that is referred to the osmosis. Yeah, the movement of water from high water potential to a low water potential until it achieve a dynamic equilibrium. Yeah, okay, so that is referred to the osmosis. Okay, next we go to the third type of the passive transport, which is facilitated diffusion. Yeah, facilitated diffusion. Yeah, what do you mean by facilitated diffusion? The movement of substances across the plasma membrane down its concentration gradient. Yeah, what do you mean by down its concentration gradient? It means from higher concentration area to the lower concentration area. Yeah, with the help of channel protein or carrier protein. Yeah, channel protein or carrier protein. Okay, no energy is needed. Yeah, no energy is needed. Substances that move by facilitated diffusion are glucose, amino acid, and certain ions. Right? Okay, so you have to remember the examples of the substance that move by facilitated diffusion. Yeah, okay. So let's go to the diagram here. Okay. So we already discussed about the protein molecules just now in the previous video. Okay. So the protein molecules can be divided into two types, channel protein and carrier protein. Yeah, so this is a channel protein, this is a carrier protein. Yeah, okay. Channel protein form channel, form channel or canals, to allow small size solute and ions, to diffuse across the plasma membrane. Channels have specific internal characteristics that only allow specific ions to pass through it. Okay, that is a channel protein. Yeah, it has a canal. It has a canal. Yeah, okay. And then carrier protein. Okay, carrier protein have specific site. Yeah, have specific site. Okay, what is specific site? So this is specific site. Yeah, specific site. Okay, and can only bind to a specific molecule. Yeah, so means that the carrier protein has a specific site that only can bind to the certain molecule. Not all molecule can bind with it, and only certain molecule. So mean the action is specific. One carrier protein is for one molecule only. Yeah, for example, glucose molecule can only bind to the specific site of a glucose of a carrier protein there. Yeah, okay. So that is a carrier protein. Yeah, carrier protein. Okay, next we are going to discuss the examples of the facilitated diffusion process. Yeah, that is referred to the movement of glucose across a plasma membrane. Yeah, okay, by facilitated diffusion. So in the previous slide, we already discussed about the meaning of facilitated diffusion. Okay, I repeat, what is the meaning of facilitated diffusion? Okay, it is referred to the movement of substances across a plasma membrane, from higher concentration area to the lower concentration area with the help of channel protein or carrier protein. Okay, that is referred to the facilitated diffusion. Okay, examples of the substance that move across by facilitated diffusion are Yeah, glucose and amino acid. Make sure you can remember the examples. Okay. Now we are going to discuss the movement of glucose. Yeah. Okay. Okay. First, okay, look at the diagram here. Okay, extracellular glucose concentration are higher than in cytoplasm. Okay, on the extracellular, there is a higher concentration of the glucose. Okay, and then second one, okay, we go to here. Glucose bind with the specific site of the carrier protein. Okay, so this is a glucose. Yeah, glucose bind with the specific site of the carrier protein. Okay, the third one, carrier proteins change shape. Yeah, to allow glucose molecule to pass through the carrier protein and to enter the cells. Okay, what happened here? The specific site of the carrier protein, yeah, change. Yeah, and it will change the shape of the carrier protein, and it will allow the glucose to pass through it and enter into the cell. Okay, that is number 3. Carrier protein change shape, yeah, to allow the glucose molecule to pass through it. Okay, then number 4, the carrier proteins return to their original shape and ready to transport other molecule. Okay, as we can see here, it will return to the original shape. Yeah, okay. So it will ready to receive another glucose. Okay, that is referred to the movement of glucose across a plasma membrane by facilitated diffusion. Yeah, okay. Make sure you can understand that. Yeah, okay. I repeat. First, yeah, the glucose bind with the specific site of the carrier protein, and then the carrier protein change the shape, and it will allow the glucose to pass through it and enter into the cell, and then the carrier protein return to their original shape. Okay, and ready to transport other glucose. Okay, that is referred to the facilitated diffusion. Okay, so next we have to learn about the active transport. Yeah, active transport is opposite to the passive transport. Okay, make sure you can set on your mind that passive transport is from higher concentration area to the lower concentration area, or we can say down the concentration gradient. But in the active transport, it is opposite. Yeah, the movement of substances from lower concentration area to the higher concentration area, or it against the concentration gradient. Yeah, it against the concentration gradient here. Yeah, okay, with the help of carrier proteins only. With the help of carrier proteins only. Yeah, so in the active transport, it does not involve channel protein. It only involves carrier proteins. Yeah, please remember that. Yeah, active transport involve only carrier protein. Yeah, that have specific site to bind with the certain ions. Okay. So in the active transport, ATP or cellular energy is required. So energy is needed here. Yeah? Okay. And results in accumulation or elimination of molecules or ions in the cell. Ya, dia akan menyebabkan pengumpulan ataupun what is eliminate? Eliminate, excrete it out. Ya, pembuangan. Ya, eliminate of molecules. Ya. Okay. Example of the carrier proteins involved in active transport are sodium, potassium pump, and proton pump. Okay. So these type of the carrier protein we are going to discuss later. Right? Okay. So make sure you can know the meaning of the active transport. Okay, what is the meaning of active transport? The movement of substances against the concentration gradient with the help of the carrier protein. Yeah, whereby the energy is required here. Yeah, energy is required. Okay, let's discuss the mechanism of sodium-potassium pump, which is the application of active transport. Okay, what is sodium-potassium pump? It is a carrier protein that transports sodium ions to extracellular. Yeah, okay, please understand that. So sodium potassium pump is a carrier protein that transports sodium ions to extracellular. Means that it will carry the sodium ion to outside of the cell. Yeah, to extracellular. And transport potassium ions into the cell. Yeah, and transport potassium ions into the cell. Okay, so sodium potassium pump is referred to the carrier protein that transport two types of the ions. Okay, what are they? Sodium ions, yeah, are transported to the extracellular, and second is potassium ions are transported into the cell. Okay, that is sodium potassium pump. Okay, let's go to the mechanism. Okay, so first, three sodium ions bind to the carrier protein. Yeah, bind to the carrier protein here. Okay, so what we can see here on the extracellular fluid, there is high sodium ion. Okay, so this is referred to the sodium ion, and Na plus referred to the sodium ions. Okay, in the cytoplasm, there is a low sodium ion concentration. Okay, and because of the active transport, yeah, okay, active transport, the movement of the ions or substances from lower concentration to the higher concentration. So the three sodium ion bind to the carrier protein, to the specific site. Okay, to the specific site. And then what happened? ATP molecules or adenosine triphosphate decompose into adenosine diphosphate or ADP and P phosphate. So the phosphate group is bound to the carrier protein. Okay, so now ATP is needed here. Energy is needed here. Yeah, okay, phosphate is bind to the carrier protein, and then it will provide energy. Okay, number 3. Phosphate bond provide energy and change the shape of carrier protein. Then sodium ion is transported through the carrier protein out of the cell. Okay, as we can see here, yeah, the sodium ion are transported out. Okay, when the carrier protein change the shape. Yeah, how does it change the shape? After the energy is used here. Yeah, energy from the phosphate bond here. Okay, okay. Number 4. Yeah, number 4, it involves the potassium ion. Yeah, potassium ion. On the extracellular fluid, there is a low concentration of potassium ion. In the cytoplasm, there is a high concentration of potassium ion. So, what happened here? The two potassium ion from outside of the cell bind with the carrier protein. Okay, the phosphate group leave the carrier protein, and then it will cause the loss of the phosphate group, restore the original shape of the carrier protein. Yeah, okay. So now the carrier protein return to the original shape, and then it will release the potassium ion into the cell. Yeah, you release the potassium ion into the cell. Okay, that is referred to the sodium potassium pump. Yeah, sodium potassium pump. Sodium ions are transported out of the cell or to extracellular, whereby the potassium ion are transported into the cell. Okay, sodium potassium pump. And then we go to the mechanism of proton pump. Yeah, the another pump or carrier protein for active transport that involve the active transport. Okay, proton pumps can be found on the epithelial cells lining the stomach cavity. Yeah, okay. So in the stomach cavity, there is epithelial cells that have proton pumps. Yeah, proton pumps. It will cause the acidity of the stomach content. Yeah, it will cause the acidity. Yeah, it will cause our stomach to become acidic. In what pH? In pH around 2. Yeah. Energy from ATP enables the hydrogen ion to be transported by the carrier protein. Yeah, so energy is required here. Yeah, okay, required here. Okay, to enable hydrogen ion to be transported towards the extracellular fluid. Yeah, okay. Energy is needed here to enable the hydrogen ion to carry out of the cell, yeah, towards the extracellular fluid. Causes the accumulation of hydrogen ion and acid production in the stomach cavity. So it will cause the accumulation of hydrogen ion and it will increase the acidity of the stomach. Okay, that is referred to the proton pump. Okay, mechanism of the proton pump. Okay, take a look on the diagram here. Yeah, so this is referred to the cytoplasm. Yeah, cytoplasm. Okay, as we can see here, there is a low concentration of the hydrogen ions. Yeah, inside the cytoplasm. Yeah, okay, low concentration of the hydrogen ions. It will cause high pH. Yeah, high pH because of the low hydrogen ions. Yeah. So in the presence of the ATP, well, okay, in the presence of the ATP, so hydrogen ions will bind to the carrier proteins and then they will be transported out, yeah, transported out of the cell to extracellular fluid that has a high concentration of hydrogen ions. Yeah. So when there is a lot of the hydrogen ions, it will cause low pH. Yeah, low pH. Yeah. The accumulation of the hydrogen ions will increase the acidity of the stomach. Alright, okay. So that is referred to the mechanism of the proton pump. Okay, I hope you can understand that. Okay, so take a look on this diagram. Yeah, we do a short review, yeah, about the movement of substances across a plasma membrane that we have learned for today. Yeah, okay. So movement of substances across a plasma membrane can be divided into two types. Okay, what are they? Yeah, passive transport and active transport. Okay, can you guess what type of the transport or what type of the process that occur here? Okay, let's take a look on the H2O here. So H2O is referred to the water. So the water move across the plasma membrane, yeah, by what process? Okay, by what process? Okay, can you still remember? Okay, the process is osmosis. Yeah, the movement of water from high water potential to the lower water potential. Okay, that is referred to the osmosis. Okay, what about the small non-polar molecule that is referred to the oxygen and carbon dioxide? Yeah, oxygen and carbon dioxide here. So they are moved by simple diffusion. Yeah, okay, simple diffusion refer to the movement of substances, yeah, from higher concentration area to the lower concentration area until a dynamic equilibrium is achieved. Alright, okay, that is referred to the refer to what? Refer to the simple diffusion. Okay. Let's take a look on this one also. The lipid-soluble molecules. Okay, lipid-soluble molecules. Yeah, for example, fatty acid, glycerol, vitamin A, D, E, K, they also move by, yeah, by what process? By simple diffusion. Yeah, by simple diffusion because they are lipid-soluble molecules. Yeah, lipid-soluble molecules. Okay, what about this one? Okay, what type of transport is this? Okay, so this is referred to the facilitated diffusion. Okay, why facilitated diffusion? Okay, as you can see here, there is a higher concentration of the solute here. Oh, sorry, higher concentration of the solute here, and this one a lower concentration. Okay, so the movement of the substances from higher concentration area to the lower concentration area with the help of the channel protein or carrier protein, yeah, is a facilitated diffusion. Yeah, facilitated diffusion. Okay, so facilitated diffusion also involve carrier protein, but make sure you can know a carrier protein. Is it facilitated diffusion or active transport? Yeah, if facilitated diffusion, it will involve the movement of substances from higher concentration area to the lower concentration area. Yeah, if active transport, it will involve the movement of substances from lower concentration area to the higher concentration area. Yeah, in the presence of energy. Yeah, with the need of energy. Yeah, make sure you can differentiate that. Okay, so that is referred to the short review what we had learned today. Yeah, the movement of substances across a plasma membrane. Okay. Okay, let's go to the similarities and differences between passive transport and active transport. Yeah, similarities between passive and active. Okay, what are the similarities? Yeah, persamaannya, moving both process move a substance across a plasma membrane. Yes, right. Okay, then both occurs through a selectively permeable membrane. Okay, that is a similarities. Yeah, okay, between passive and transport. Okay, we go to the differences. Okay, differences. Okay, first, take a look on this. Energy is not required in the passive transport. Okay, and active transport requires energy. Yeah, requires energy. Okay, second one. Passive transport occurs following the concentration of gradient, or in other words, occurs down the concentration gradient, yeah? Or in other words, move from higher concentration to the lower concentration area. Okay, while for active transport occurs against the concentration gradient. Yeah, against the concentration gradient, or move from lower concentration area to the higher concentration area. Okay, the third differences. Okay, passive transport occurs until a dynamic equilibrium is achieved. Yeah, until a dynamic equilibrium is achieved. Yeah, what do you mean by dynamic equilibrium? That is referred to the when the concentration of the both solution are equal. While for active transport, there are accumulation and disposal of molecules or ions, right? Okay, so that is referred to the active transport. Yeah, accumulation or disposal or elimination, yeah, of the certain molecules, right? Okay, make sure you can differentiate and also give the similarities between the passive transport and active transport. Okay, I think that's all for today. Make sure you can remember all the important points, yeah, of the passive transport and active transport. Alright, okay, please read again and again until you understand. Right, okay, so that's all for today. Alright, okay, thank you everyone. Yeah, stay safe and stay healthy always. Okay, thank you.